Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? If you could give me a sign that you can hear me. Yes, that's good. That's great. I see there are still people entering the webinar. That's all right. But I think we can, for now, already start. So, welcome everyone. Good to have you all in the new webinar. It's been a while, I think, about a month ago. As some of you, I think, already know because I see you more often. We do this on a monthly basis. Because we think it's important to share our knowledge, share insights in the area of the exciting area of life science marketing. So I'm happy you're here again today. We're going to discuss marketing automation, tracking data, and analytics. So Romano will, yeah, deep dive with you in these topics with you in a bit. Um, so yeah, I'm just gonna start with some updates as usual. Um, Yes. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. So, I think most of you already seen it also. We soon have a training day. We have two spots left. It's next week here in Leiden. So, what is the day exactly? It's a one-day training where we talk about all the different topics that are useful for life science marketers. So, we have a chapter talking about search engine marketing. We have a chapter talking about social media marketing. We talk about budgeting, analytics, reporting, basically all the skills, all the insights, everything you need to know for your marketing operations. We have two seats left. It's going to be a fun day with other companies that also are working yeah, other marketers that also work in a life science biotech or medtech company that you can connect with. There will be a fun networking event afterwards with some drinks. So if you do want to join us, do let us know. If you cannot attend this version, this edition, there will be a new edition announced soon. So also please do have a look at that. So yeah, as I mentioned, it's a one-day program. It's an intensive program, I have to be honest. There's a lot of information, but after this day, you have basically all the insights and also some recent trends on how to address these different topics. So if you have any questions, do let me know. I'm available via email, or you can LinkedIn me or my colleagues. And of course, we're also organizing some new webinars too that are currently in pipeline. Is how to build a marketing department, because we give these webinars and we have this content about these different topics. So how to address your social media marketing, how to address your search engine ads, whatever. But I think an overall challenge that people face is, how do I actually organize all these other aspects on a higher level? So how do you organize your resources if you're just a one person team? How do you work with an agency? When is the right moment to hire a new colleague? How do you organize your budget in the best way? And there will also be a little panel discussion where, yeah, other life science companies will share their experience with you. So that will be interesting as well. And then for another audience, which is the business developers and business development directors, we're also going to do a webinar focusing on tactics that are relevant for them also. So that's going to be really interesting. And then, of course, May also has some things that will be organized, but I will update you on that later on. Um, in April during the next webinar. Yeah. All right. Then yeah, that was my short part and contribution to this webinar. Again, great seeing all of you again. If you want to connect with me, please let me know. Always happy to chat with you. Also, the last time I received some emails and I had some fun calls talking about your marketing projects that you're working on. Then yeah, without further ado, wanna give the word to my colleague Romano, who will then dive with you into marketing automation.
All right. That was a small rookie mistake. Hopefully the audio transfer went well. Please leave a chat behind if you can't hear me. Today we're going to be discussing the concepts of marketing automation, some techniques about tracking within digital marketing, and also some insights in what kind of data you can analyze, what kind of data sources are out there to optimize your marketing strategy and advertising campaigns. At the end of the webinar, if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to leave them behind, and then we can provide you with some insights furthermore. Just as a brief introduction, it's quite a technical concept, of course, within marketing automation tracking and data analytics. We'll not be deep diving in all of the implementation. Some of them are there. It's more introducing some topics that you could take into consideration. If you have some more questions or want to deep dive into these topics, you're more than welcome to send me DM on LinkedIn or send us an email, and then we can, of course, schedule a short call to see how we can assist or how we can help with the implementation of these topics. To start, we're going to be diving into marketing automation. Actually, marketing automation is a software or a platform that actually enables you to automate specific routine marketing tasks without having to manually do them all by yourself. This can be done through, for example, email marketing by setting automated email messaging. Can be done through behavioral targeting. Also, lead scoring is involved within, for example, your CRM system like HubSpot or within Salesforce. And in the end, the goal you're trying to reach with automating these tasks is making sure that the team of both marketing and sales are able to cooperate better with each other efficiently, and also making sure that the target audience you're trying to reach with your marketing efforts actually receive the personalized and relevant content dedicated to the pain points that they currently have, to answer them with your specific product or service. And in the end, it's all about saving time for you as a company and also saving time for the prospect or lead as they actually get the content they're really looking for. This is the concept of marketing automation. When we're diving into this, we see some specific common challenges among life science businesses is that they're trying to really generate those leads and keeping their potential customers engaged throughout the full customer journey and buyer's journey to make sure that the IBP or ideal buyer persona actually really gets the content they're looking for, and making sure that your company in the end stays top of mind among the target audience. And that a lot of data is being generated, of course. You have different data sources like your advertising campaigns, your social media channel, it can be your email marketing database. But in the end, it's nice to have all the data, but actually putting it to use can be quite a struggle. So marketing automation actually enables you to use all these different data sources into enabling your marketing strategy and providing that relevant content to your target audience. One hard thing is that we see among life science businesses and sales reps is that they don't really have strong inbound lead generation strategies, and they're really spending their time on those specific prospects and leads they already have in their database to really push them throughout the buyer persona. So of course, also important to see based on the serviceable obtainable market, if you have all those leads in there, if you have a fair share of that, and to see if based on your target company list, if all the leads are already in your database to start to reach and hit your revenue goals. We have made a distinction between bad and good marketing automation. Of course, there's not really a good or bad. We would more call it ineffective or effective in that sense, or efficient. When we look at bad marketing automation, we see that it's mainly just based on triggering emails on time delays. For example, if there's a certain time period between email A versus email B, and to really focus on whether a lead has clicked on your email, that they get a follow-up email in that sense. But within marketing automation, it's important to really understand what your lead is looking for and what they're interested in, to understand the context of the pain point or the problem they currently have, that you can, of course, offer your service to make sure that they actually get content and help you can supply to them. So there's, of course, a nice cartoon that shows it's not about annoying or making sure that your marketing is ineffective, but really make sure that you provide that relevant content with them to, using the right platform at the right time with the right message. So with good marketing automation, you dive into real context of your user. What is the pain points they currently have, and how can you supply an answer to that with the right relevant content? So if they're looking for specific products that they have shown interest in, for example, social media post about it, getting that context of that user behavior into your email marketing database, you can send that correct email and relevant email to them. and this goes beyond email. Also, for example, it can be social media or having tailored service pages that are relevant for that user on your website to really make sure that the content you have matches the needs of the target audience and make sure that they can consume that. And in that sense, also, you can stay top of mind among that target audience. You really have a 360-degree view of what your potential customer wants or what they're looking for. And in that sense, also making sure that you supply that content that will answer their problems. This all comes down to having them become an inbound lead, that you are top of mind on that short list of the target audience within the potential companies they want to reach out to. And then in the end, they of course want to get into contact with you. The most effective is indeed making sure that your marketing automation strategy goes beyond just email. So having a variety of channels, can be through social media, can be through web personalization, or indeed your email marketing flows, to make sure that the total success of your campaign relies not just on one specific channel like email marketing, but making sure that you use all those different channels that your target audience is active on to make sure that they you supply the right message to them and make sure that you stay top of mind in that sense. Marketing automation offers you three main things that we'll be diving into today. Is making sure that you provide more relevant content, so you can be specific about what each customer sees. This can all be monitored within, for example, your HubSpot platform or Salesforce, to also make sure that you have better answers faster. So this is for the lead important, but also internally when you, for example, have a sales representative, that they know what the buyer persona has shown interest in, so that they can also use that within their conversations with that customer. And to make sure that you have a seamless omnichannel experience for the target audience. Because of course, no one likes to repeat themselves in that sense. So it's important that you provide that personalized experience among all those different channels. So by, for example, pre-filled in forms or already having the content out there that's relevant for them. When we're diving into distributing more relevant content, it's about making use of your buyer persona along with the behavioral targeting to really send the information to the prospect or customer in that sense, that they get that answer that they're looking for. Everyone is short of time. It's us as marketeers, but also the customers. So using automation will actually help you by using the data you already have to really highlight the content that's relevant for them at the right time. With providing answers better, faster, really dive into that behavioral data that you already have stored in your CRM, that these sales representatives can actually dive into that platform without the need of really having to look for it. They already have an overview of what the customer has recently shown interest in. And this will help you with automating responses based on the previous interactions you have had, and to make sure that within the current service you have to really help them and supply them with the right data. And in the end, increase the lifetime value of these customers. When we're looking into the omnichannel experience, it's important that when a user gets into contact, whether that's within a certain email or whether it's in your web page or if that's on your social media, that they really get the same experience, the same contact or same type of content that you offer them. So within automation, you're able to really get that experience over to the customers, with no matter what channel they're currently contacting you on. One example of a automated email flow is that, for example, when a contact has filled in a form to, for example, in this case, dive into this webinar, then they get a welcome message that they already get some information on what the webinar will look like, when it will be attended, and then there will be a delay. And 1 day prior to the email, 1 day prior to the webinar, they already get an automated email telling them the instructions on how they could, for example, log in. But marketing automation is not just about marketing. It's also about, of course, building the bridge between the marketing department and the sales department. So it could also be done if they fill in a specific form, that you dive into what country they're from.
Oh, bad timing.
This is a very bad timing, but currently the fire alarm is going off in our office. Shall we wait until we get kicked out?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it takes 5 minutes.
All right.
So
I think the sound also bothers.
Surprise coffee break.
Go to the coffee machine and grab yourself a drink, and then we'll probably be back in 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Yeah.
All right, we're back without a fire alarm in the back. We're also still alive, so that's a positive thing. As Vos had mentioned, indeed, it's a hot topic apparently. Um, yeah, where I left off is actually besides the marketing aspect of marketing automation, also the building the bridge to the sales department. So this could be through if they fill in a specific form, if it could be, for example, in this case, target region with, for example, the Singapore or Germany that they get assigned to the specific contact owner. Can also be if you have contact owners for specific product departments that they get assigned to the right sales rep in that sense. There's also a very nice opportunity to make sure that the marketing qualified leads or sales qualified leads that you're generating get transferred to the right contact owner. We're actually using within Central mainly the Salesforce and HubSpot when it comes to the CRM or the marketing automation practices. We're also using Zapier, which is more a automation tool that can automate workflows where, for example, having a lead gen form on Meta that they get an automated, can automatically transferred to a Excel sheet, and that you can send an automated message to the sales rep with an update like, hey, we have just generated a new lead. Can you check it out in online Excel sheets to get into contact with them? So this are our main trusted platforms. When we're comparing Salesforce to HubSpot, we can see that Salesforce does have an edge when it comes to the reporting and customization possibilities, but HubSpot has less of a learning curve. So if you're trying to implement it, it's easier for your marketing department to get around in this new platform. And it also has a nice user interface with the superior interface. And this can actually really help both your marketing department and sales department at also an accessible price point. So we would also advise to, if you're currently not have a marketing automation platform in place and you're trying to really dive into this aspect of marketing, it could be a nice opportunity to actually dive into the possibilities of both the Salesforce and HubSpot platforms. If you still have questions, we're always happy to have a conversation about what platform is most relevant for you, and then we could also help with implementation. The main takeaways for this marketing automation chapter could be that it's important to really identify what your needs are, what you're trying to use from this marketing automation platform, and to identify which one is most relevant in that sense. It's important to set up these marketing automation flows to really provide the right answer at the right time using the right platform. So it goes, of course, beyond email, making sure that all the content you're offering your target audience is important based on the context and needs of the lead, and also using the right platform of their choice. This was the part about marketing automation. If you have some questions about this, we can answer them during the Q&A session at the end of this webinar. Now we're going to be diving into the tracking within digital marketing. Within digital marketing, tracking refers to keeping track, of course, of the user behavior on either on your website or within, if you have an app, it could also be in-app or within the advertising platform. So it's about having cookies or tracking pixels within your website that gets fired based on the specific user behavior that you have allocated to that specific event. There are 4 different techniques that we'll be discussing during this webinar to provide you some concepts that you could be implementing within your current marketing strategy. A thank you page for measurement is something that we use quite often to make sure that we have like a proper and clean way of measuring all the behaviors of the target audience when they have a specific conversion, like a contact form, or when they download a specific piece of gated content. Another one is enhanced conversions within Google Ads, is a way of sending first-party hash data to the Google Ads platform to show them that the lead that has been generated actually comes from that Google ad. Also, the Google's consent mode V2, which actually this month is starting to be mandatory for specific parts of the Google Ads platform and Google Analytics. This is also one of the concepts we'll be discussing. This is less focused also on the implementation sides, because that's also dependent on which consent management platform you're currently using. And the last technique that we'll be discussing is the implementation of the LinkedIn Insight tag, which is focused on the LinkedIn Campaign Manager using Google Tag Manager. Google Tag Manager is the main platform we're discussing during this webinar to implement these techniques. because it's also our preferred platform when it comes to setting up tracking pixels. If you don't have Google Tag Manager installed just yet, but you're planning to do so, you can send us an email if you want to, then we can share the resources for you to make sure that you can implement it properly and also start implementing these techniques. A thank you page, as I mentioned, would actually follow any form of a transaction on your website. This could be if they apply for a quote request, if they complete a form fill out to download content. It could be anything that you want, of course, thank the user for, but also make sure that you track the right data. So in this case, it would be if you fill in a contact form, this page would be shown. There are some drawbacks from thank you pages that we know some clients are running into. Is that, for example, it does, of course, provide a message with thank you, you're now done on our website, you can continue on. But it could be that you want the user, after they've completed the form, to also dive in other pieces of content. For example, if you also want them to read more about your blogs. But if you want to have that, but still want to have a thank you page, could of course be like on this specific example that you refer to the resources, that you indeed tell them we're not done yet with you, we still have something to offer you. So thank you for applying for this, but yeah, here you can go to our resources page to find out more about our service offering. This is more like the technical stuff. So really the steps into how you would implement this within Google Tag Manager. It could be that this is like a more boring part, but I think it's good to walk through these steps to really identify how you can make sure to implement a thank you page measurement within the Google Tag Manager. So this will be done through the tag configuration, where you would choose the GA4 event tag type. And therefore, it's also important to make sure that you implement your measurement ID of your Google Analytics 4 account, which can be found in the data stream of your Google Analytics 4 account. That way, the Google tag knows what kind of Google Analytics, Google Analytics account you're referring to. This specific example, we took the event name as generate lead. This could also then be found within your Google Analytics 4 account to see how many times the thank you page got shown to a user. So then you know how many leads you got generated in that sense. For the trigger, it's important to dive into a page view trigger configuration based on the page URL. So here it's important to keep in mind if you have multiple thank you pages per, for example, form, to make sure that you implement the page path equals for a specific one. So if you have multiple thank you pages running with the same URL, then it's also nice to have to include a page refer that you know what kind of form they come from. So here it's important to make sure that you implement the right trigger with the right page URL to make sure that you're triggering that event based on the right thank you page visit. So here it would be the /form/thankyou.html. Then every time a user visits that one or views the page, then that tag gets fired. So then you can see another event code within the Google Analytics 4 account. This was it for the setting up of thank you page event within Google Tag Manager. If we're now going to be diving into the second technique, it's actually the enhanced conversions within the Google Ads platform. This is a way of matching your first-party data with the conversion data of Google to make sure that you have higher accuracy of your conversion measurement. And this would ultimately enable you to have a more powerful bidding within the Google Ads platform to make sure that the Google Ads platform gets the right conversion data and then optimizes towards more relevant conversions in the end. If you look at the step-by-step model, that actually, how this works is that, of course, at first a user ends up clicking on your search ad or on your display ad. Then they start browsing your website and reading more about your service or product offering. They fill in a form, and this data is then also sent to Google based on the hashed lead information. This could be any field that you choose. For example, it could be the hashed email address. And then your lead information gets stored within the CRM database. Ultimately, when the lead converts, so for example, at first it was a marketing qualified lead, but in the end it also becomes a customer, you can re-upload that hashed lead information, and then Google can drive back that lead data into, all right, we can see that this user profile indeed clicked on the ad, and in the end also became a customer. So we should be looking for more like these user profiles, and then in the end this will benefit your marketing campaign a lot, because then Google can optimize and pick up the algorithm towards those more relevant conversions. As the enhanced conversions can be set up through different triggers, like it can be indeed based on the CRM database, but it can also be based on a website events. We didn't specify the implementation, but if you want to implement this and you don't have this running, you're more than welcome to send me an email about this, and then we can dive into this together to see what matches your business the most, and how we can make sure that the enhanced conversions start running within your Google Ads campaigns as well. Another thing for the Google platform is the consent mode v2. You probably have seen it on LinkedIn or within specific marketing resources, or within, of course, Google Analytics or Google Ads platform. It's a new way of combining the user consent to behavioral modeling in Google Analytics 4. So there's a basic implementation which actually makes sure that all the Google tags are blocked until a user has explicitly specified that they give consent to those Google tags. Or within the advanced implementation, which also brings some more parameters to it, it will also enable Google Analytics 4 to model conversions based on the behavior of a user. So then it could be that they denied the Google tags, but then they know based on the user profile that the conversion does belong to that one, so it can still supply that conversion data to Google Ads. It can be quite a technical conversation, but it's nice to start implementing this, as on the 6th of March, it was also mandatory for the retargeting campaign. So if you had not done that, it's a good idea to start implementing this. And within March, it will actually be rolled out more frequently from Google's end, that it will also be mandatory for tracking conversions, and to also supplying and storing those analytics insights into the Google Analytics 4 account. These two new parameters that I was referring to are the ad user data and ad personalization. If you already have a consent management platform, like for example, Cookie Yes or Cookie Bot, most of them are updated automatically, so then you don't have to do any manual implementation for that. But for the ad user data variable, actually controls whether the user data you have collected gets sent to the Google Ads platforms. And for ad personalization, which is the one that was mandatory to have installed on the 6th of March, so yesterday, controls whether the personalized advertising can still be enabled. Because if you had not done that, your remarketing list will then be influenced, and this will indeed influence your remarketing campaign in that sense. The step-by-step model into how it works is you use, of course, enters your website, and then they get a cookie banner shown. In there, they give or reject consent to that cookie banner. The consent mode picks up through the or it communicates with your cookie banner whether it was granted or denied. Then the data gets collected based on the choices of the user, and in the end, with the advanced implementation based on the behavior modeling, Google can predict based on user behavior that still the rejected consent can get allocated to that specific user. There are three main steps you can follow within the implementation, but as I've mentioned, based on your consent management platform, it can differ. But it mainly is that a visitor gets prompted with the consent banner. The consent management platform then pings the consent status to Google, and based on that, Google can fire or not the Google tags which you have installed. When you're looking at the different Google tags that are out there, you have the conversion linker, the Google tag, which can be used, for example, for Google Analytics 4, and the Google Ads remarketing tag. I think that name speaks for itself. But in there, you can indeed, as is shown on this image, indicate for that specific tag what kind of fields are required in terms of additional consent before the tag is allowed to fire. So if you have a remarketing one, it's important that you also implement the ad personalization field to make sure that the remarketing Google tag doesn't get fired when the user has not, of course, granted that consent. That was it for the consent mode v2. It's still quite new, of course. I think the online marketing landscape is quite shaken up by this new new consent mode. So it could be that it's still pretty vague to some of you, but if you want to learn more about it, as I've mentioned, I'm more than happy to talk you through it to see how we can implement it for you. Then one of the other tags is the LinkedIn Insight tag, which is a pixel of LinkedIn that actually enables you to send website data to the LinkedIn Campaign Manager, which can be used for conversion tracking, like for example, website actions, and ultimately optimize your campaign performance, or retargeting those website visitors within LinkedIn based on the LinkedIn Insight tag. This can also be done through the Google Tag Manager. If you create a new insight tag under the analyze function within the LinkedIn Campaign Manager, you can select the I will use a tag manager, and then they show you your partner ID, which you'll be using within the Google Tag Manager platform. Then if you go to Google Tag Manager and create a new tag, here it's important that it's a template of LinkedIn that you can download or add to your workspace. So then if you search for the more tag types from the community template gallery, which is a mouthful, then you can add that LinkedIn Insight tag 2.0 to your workspace. In there, you would add your partner ID from the Insight tag that you have just seen on this previous slide. Then you can add the trigger and make sure that you submit it to your Google Tag Manager container. Ultimately, it would look something like this. This is still with the triggering, with the consent initialization of Google. But if you have set up consent mode, then you also have a specific custom event within your Google Tag Manager account that you can use to instruct the Insight tag that it only fires after the specific advertising cookie consent. All right, that was it for the LinkedIn Insight tag as well. If looking at the main takeaways of the tracking, we would always advise to use a thank you page to make sure that you have a proper form of measurement for the form fillouts or any other events you have specified on your website. We would also advise to track the enhanced conversions to further optimize your Google Ads campaigns using that hashed first-party data. Consent mode is also an important one to start implementing if you have Google Analytics 4 or if you're using Google Ads campaigns, and to use the LinkedIn Insight tag to make sure that you provide some more relevant data to the LinkedIn Campaign Manager, and in the end, optimize your LinkedIn campaigns. When it comes to the data analytics and visualization, we're going to be discussing three main topics. It's important to keep in mind that, of course, data analytics can also refer to, for example, market research. Within this webinar, we'll be mainly discussing concepts that you can use to optimize your website or to optimize your marketing campaigns, to really dive into specific reports. So, for example, for LinkedIn ads and Google ads, we'll be discussing today. Also, the quantitative data analysis. So this can be done within, for example, a web analytics platform or within your CRM system to really dive into the number game and to see what kind of insights you can build upon. And also qualitative data analysis. Also, this actually gets done for example, a Hotjar tool, but it's something we'll be discussing later on in this webinar. When it comes to the quantitative data analytics, this really dives into the numbers game in that sense. So this can be done, for example, based on the number of sessions you get on your website, their engagement rate, what kind of actions they take. So the numerical information that you already have. As I mentioned, this can be done within a web analytics platform, like, for example, Google Analytics 4. If you want to learn more about GA4, we also have had a previous webinar about the specific topic. So if you want to know more about it, we have some resources available into what kind of reports you can use for that. This can be done within your advertising platforms, like, for example, Google Ads and LinkedIn Ads, and the CRM systems like HubSpot or Salesforce or whatever you're currently using. One of the Google Ads reports I like to use most of the time is the Auction Insights report, which actually really provides insights into what competitors you're bidding against within the Google Ads campaigns. So this would show you how many impressions you get within the Google Ads or within a Google search engine results page based on how many impressions you could have gotten. And then you can also really see the other display URLs or the other companies that are currently bidding against you. This can provide some new insights into, okay, I can see that based on this specific search keyword, that company is bidding against me, but I can see that they have a higher impression share for that keyword. You could spy on them within the Google Ads Transparency Center to identify what kind of ad copy they currently have, or you could dive into their service offering to see if they're actually really a direct competitor, or maybe it's better to opt out of that specific search keyword to start bidding on new ones. So this is a very nice report. I would definitely advise to use this. You can access this through the sidebar with the auction insights, or when you have a specific in the campaign environment of the Google Ads platform, you can also click on reports. Then you get the visibility reports, and you can dive into it on search keyword level. For this specific screenshot, we took one of the campaign level auction insights, but I would advise to really dive into the search keyword level, as this will provide some more competitor names and also really some new insights that you could act upon. Another Google Ads report that you could use is the assets report, which would show you, based on all the different headlines, descriptions, site links, or any other asset that you currently have within your Google Ads account, to see how many impressions they're generating. Based on that number, you could see that this type of messaging gets shown most often to the user. So the algorithm provides priority to that specific one. So we would definitely advise to dive through your assets like every week to see if you see any changes, or you see that some of your headlines that you think are most relevant aren't shown that often. Then you could, for example, also use them in a new way or rewrite them. So this is a very nice report within the Google Ads platform as well. For LinkedIn ads, we always dive into the demographic insights of your campaign. Here you can see if you, for example, just have the job functions targeting, to see based on that group name of different job titles, what job titles are currently triggering your ads, or what company names get shown the ads most frequently. And they could also see where the traction is the highest. In this example, you could, for example, see that based on the average CTR, the business development and IT departments had the highest engagement with those with the ads. So then you can also align or make sure to streamline your messaging more to those specific departments within the company, to set up separate campaigns or set up new creatives to really identify what pain points they have, and then again provide that relevant content to them. When it comes to data visualization, it's actually a way of all the different data sources that you have to visualize how you're performing. This is an example of, for example, Search Console. Here you can see like the trends of how many impressions you're getting within the organic search results. To also see how many times they get clicked on, what the CDR looks like. Then you can also see like the target region. So the real use of visualizing your data is to identify specific trends and patterns in your data, to see, all right, this is what's going on within, for example, your website or within your ad campaigns. This is something we should act upon, and then you can optimize your campaigns even further. Besides just visualizing marketing data, we think it's also important to provide more like overarching business metrics into the B2B dashboard, because ultimately, as a marketer, we're trying to make sure that the business development team or the sales team gets easier job in that sense. And by actually including these specific metrics in your B2B dashboard, you're more aware of the brand awareness level that you currently have, to see how many times or what your brand preference level is, how many inbound leads you're generating, what the pipeline velocity looks like, so how long it takes from the start of the conversation to actually getting a customer, and also the lifetime value. So yeah, but in the end, you get offered by that specific customer and what kind of value they bring to you. So besides, of course, having your marketing channels like the web analytics or the advertising campaigns, it's also important to make sure that these marketing metrics are included in your B2B dashboard, so that you stay top of mind into what's going on within the market based on the service that you provide. When we're diving into qualitative data analysis, this is more based on the first-hand observation. So this leaves out the number games more, but really actionable insights, like, for example, heat maps, that you can see how deep they scroll on your website. to get, for example, screen recordings to really see how they act on your website, where they click to, where they scroll to. Feedback forms is also a nice implementation that you get some direct feedback from the user on your website. Yeah, what they think of you. It could also be, for example, a net promoter score question. Like, so this is a very nice way of getting, besides just the numbers game, like how many sessions you get, but also really some actionable insights to act upon. The platforms we're advising to use when it comes to qualitative data analysis is Hotjar, and also usability testing. This could be done through, for example, in person, so sitting next to them, or through a video conference to really ask the user or a person, okay, you're now on our website. Can you try to fill in a contact form, or can you go to this one to really see how they engage with your website? And these insights will ultimately also help you with optimizing it to make sure that, for example, the conversion path from the homepage to your contact page is streamlined the best. When it comes to heat maps, this is an example of the Hotjar platform. On the left example, you can see the scroll depth. So here, for example, if you like have the most important information at the bottom of your page, here you can see if the user actually able to read this. So it's a very nice way of, for example, moving the blocks around of your web page to make sure that you provide them with the most relevant content that's easily accessible. And also the right example is a very nice one where it shows heat maps based on click behavior. They can see how many of what gets clicked on most oftenly. So if they, for example, continuously click on a specific word, but it's not clickable, they could think, okay, maybe it's a nice way of making it clickable, or maybe we should use a different way of formatting the specific piece of content. We should make specific buttons that you have. You see that they are not clicking on it that often. Maybe you should make sure that you it's more easily accessible for that user. So these heat maps really provide some insights into how the users are currently engaging, besides just the engagement rate that you can see within the web analytics platform. But these heat maps really provide some insights into how you can further optimize the layout of your website. And the screen recordings is even better when it comes to heat maps. Here you can really see session recordings of a specific user to see how they're behaving. So where they scroll to, what they click on, if they click on a specific content but directly go back to the previous page, is also, of course, insights that you could use to make sure that your web page is more aligned with what the user is currently looking for. So Hotjar is providing some very nice insights through their platform. So we would definitely, if you're planning on optimizing your current web page, to have it running for example, a month, to start generating some insights already. And these insights can help you later on with optimizing it, for example, if you want to build a new website. When it comes to usability testing, this is a method of making sure that you test the functionality of, for example, your app, website, app, or just product by really observing them with what they're doing. And this is also, for example, like the previous slide, can be done through a session recording, but it can also be done in business or remote, dependent on how you would like to do this. Here, this matrix shows you different ways of doing it. When you're looking at, for example, remote and unmoderated, it would be a session recording. But if you want to observe them, but not tell them what to do, then you can, for example, have an observation with the in-person and unmoderated one. We would also always advise to have a mixture of all these different usability testing to make sure that you get all the insights, because having a moderated in-person one can, of course, also influence the insights that you're getting, because then they know that they're being observed, so they might act in a specific way. So having a mixture of both session recordings, lab usability testing, and the phone video interview will ultimately help you with generating all the insights that you're currently looking for. The main takeaways from the data analytics and visualization are to make sure that you're combining both the quantitative and qualitative insights of both your website and marketing campaigns into the optimization. So not just solely focusing on the number games or just on the actionable insights, but really combining them into specific learnings that you could use to further optimize them. We'd also therefore advise to dive into different platforms. So then dive into a web analytics platform, for example, or in Hotjar or Microsoft Clarity, and the different reports within your advertising platforms to generate all those data sources, combine them into how can we make sure that we make the life of our leads or of the users more easy and make sure that we're performing better in that sense. The reports that I've mentioned in this webinar are the demographic insights report within the LinkedIn Campaign Manager and the asset and auction insight report within Google Ads. These are very nice to use to make sure that you optimize your ad campaigns. And last but not least, it's important to make sure that you visualize your marketing data and the market insights like the brand name awareness, the brand preference, the pipeline velocity into a data visualization platform like, for example, we're mainly using Looker Studio to identify different patterns and trends that you could ultimately act upon to further optimize the performance of your full digital marketing strategy. That was it for today's webinar from my end. I can imagine that there are some questions, so feel free to ask them and then we can answer them for you. Thank you for attending this webinar. I really enjoyed presenting this to you and I hope that I've given you some actionable insights that you could implement into your current digital marketing efforts.
See if there are any questions. We have a question from Plus. How do you measure brand awareness and brand preference, actually?
We would always advise to have a survey running to, for example, an ad campaign to really ask the target audience based on a survey, the brand awareness and brand preference levels against your target audience. So this could be, for example, a short list of you against 4 different competitors to have a display banner, having it, of course, non-branded, so it doesn't directly reflect back to your brand name, to really ask the target audience of which brands they know, which brands they would refer, which brands they would consider in that sense. So these levels could then directly be integrated into your digital marketing dashboard.
So if there are any other questions. Any other questions? Not sure. Can you guys hear me? Because we're on one mic at the moment.
Are there any other questions besides Vas's question?
Is anyone currently working on a tag implementation or marketing automation, maybe?
That's dependent on the timeline of Google, of course. As I mentioned, if you have not installed it for the ad personalization parameter, their remarketing lists get influenced because then they haven't directly provided consent for the remarketing. And in the end, it will also influence your conversion tracking because with the analytics storage, which is also one of the new fields, then they didn't directly grant consent for the conversion tracking. So in the end, it will influence the accuracy of your marketing data. And one nice thing with the advanced implementation is that Google Analytics 4 can make use of the behavior modeling. So then even though the user has denied consent, then the conversion can still be tracked. That's dependent on the consent management platform you're using. Some of them automatically update it, so within the code of your website. But if you, for example, have a personalized cookie banner that's like hard coded by yourself, then you would have to do some setup within the backend of your website.
Any other questions? Otherwise, we can round it up like this.
All right. If there are not any other questions, then we hope to see you during our next webinar. And good luck with everything that's going on within your current marketing operations.
See you next time.
See you.